and welcome to Trading Hour on CNBC-TV18. I'm Ekta Batra, and well, with me is Prashant Nair, who's going to be joining in with some very intriguing statistics about the current rally that we've seen. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes. But nonetheless, for the markets, we're holding steady at new highs, both for the Nifty and the Sensex. And if you look at it on a year-to-date basis, it's been a spectacular gain that we've seen for the Nifty, which is up around 8% the Bank Nifty, which has rallied around 12% and the mid-cap index, which is now firmly in green territory on a year-to-date basis, which has gained around 3% year-to-date. So overall, looking good for the markets. No complaints coming in for today specifically. We have the Bank Nifty, which is up around 0.4%. Good advanced decline ratio on our hands, which stands at around 2:1, or close about 1,200 stocks advancing to 780 odd stocks declining on the Bombay Stock Exchange. But like I mentioned, as the market has scaled fresh peaks in 2019, Prashant is here to run us through all of the contributors to this rally in this year. Prashant, over to you.
What a turn in mood and sentiment it has been from, even the beginning of the year when things were looking despondent almost, and what the mood is right now, which, there is no euphoria, but it has been such a tremendous move that I think one has to break it down a little bit in terms of what has really contributed to the move, right? So what I did is I looked at the 900-odd point rally from the beginning of the year till date, and I broke it down in terms of the top contributors. These are not what these specific stocks or sectors have themselves done, but this is their contribution to this near 900-point move that the Nifty has seen in the year so far. And I just looked at the top 15-odd sort of stocks, the top 15 contributors to the Nifty, and I basically was able to account for over 90% of this 900-point rally that the Nifty has seen. And how does that break? There are 9 financials in the top 15 contributors list. That has essentially been the extent of contribution from banks and NBFCs. 47% has come from those 9 financials. One name, Reliance Industries, it's a sector by itself. That has contributed single-handedly 26% of this 900-point move. And if you look at the 3 IT stocks, which are there in the top 15 list, that essentially has been another 18%. You add this up, it's basically, 91% of this 900-point move being accounted by 9 financials, Reliance, and 3 IT stocks. Let's just tell you now which are these stocks. I mentioned Reliance, but there are other names as well. Top of the list, of course, is RIL, which has contributed 238 odd points. It's followed by HDFC Bank. It's followed by Infosys. Then there is Axis Bank. There is ICICI Bank. And of course, there are a couple of IT names, more IT names as well. There is TCS finds a mention, and of course, HCL Tech finds a mention as well, along with names like Yes Bank. Yes Bank is up 55% in absolute terms, and that translates to about 47 index points on the Nifty. ITC finds a mention. State Bank of India and Kotak Mahindra Bank are the others. So, that is essentially the contributors list. What has dragged? It is actually auto and more auto. Take a look at the list out there. Mahindra & Mahindra, 30-odd index points, negative pressure. Lever contributing about 25 points. Maruti and Hero MotoCorp, 17 and 15 points respectively. So, but it's not too much. Actually, if you just look at the total Nifty 50 list, 39 stocks are actually higher for the year. So, just by that number, it means that there are very few which actually dragged on the index because there weren't that many which actually were lower to begin with. But what was down mostly was in the auto and perhaps, a name which, like HUL, which was down and out. So just leaving you back with what I started, the contribution on your screen, financials, Reliance, and technology. Back to you, Ekta.
Okay, all right, Prashant. Thanks very much for that. So it is predominantly a financial-led rally, but we have Sudarshan Sukhani with us to tell us what he's strategizing for today. Sudarshan, over to you. What is your recommendation both for the Nifty as well as specific stocks on a day where the momentum seems to be obviously firmly with the bulls?
Yeah, good morning again. See, we are at lifetime new highs. Now, it is possible that the markets may pause, they may do something else, but the trend is very clearly up. So, traders should be long in the Nifty. Though, what we can do is manage our risks so that in case the markets decide to take a breather, we don't get caught. So, keep your stops at 11,700 and be long in the Nifty. Avoid the Nifty bank simply because there is news coming in tomorrow. So, it's best to stay away from that. Stocks also are from the mid caps. Dabur is a buy. Dabur has been sleeping for many months and is now slowly waking up. We just saw how Marico has now suddenly started going up. I think Dabur will follow the same path. So Dabur is a buying opportunity. Power Grid is a buy. Power Grid also has gone through a correction. That correction is over and done with, and some higher levels should come. And finally, a short-term buy is Raymond's. We have seen how Raymond's has spiked up. Perhaps there will be follow through there. For Raymond's, I would suggest keeping it as a short-term trade, but still buying is justified for the time being.
Okay. All right, Sudarshan, we're going to let you go on that note. Thanks very much for joining in, and we'll be speaking with you through the day to get more perspective on the technicals for the market.